On the outskirts of the system of Konor, the SpaceWolves advance in defense of the asteroid mining fields. The Drukhari have been spotted in the surrounding area, and they will take no prisoners. Well, they will, but they just won't. SpaceWolves have been dispatched to protect the Imperial assets in this Warhammer 40,000 battle report. Let's begin. High above orbit in the space place, we have the asteroid belt up on the Konor system, and the SpaceWolves are defending against an army of Drukhari and Inari patrol detachment. This is a 1,500 point battle report on the brand new studio table. First game ever. Thanks a lot to Talented Lad Studios for doing the commission. It looks absolutely fantastic. I love how modular it is. There'll be a full video and display of the model itself, because you can completely modular. You can put them up on spokes, and you've probably seen some pictures. But I'm really looking forward to playing this game. It's definitely nothing like you've ever seen before, so I'm excited. And yeah, it's going to be an absolute bloodbath. Okay, let's get to the battle, the armies, the deployment. Let's get started. On to the mission. We're playing a basic mission, Emperor's Will, or the basic Crusade mission, retrieval, I think it's what it's called. So 1 objective, 2 objectives, 3 objectives, 4 objectives, all in different areas of the battlefield. So we're coming back with deployment, but I did place the last objective, so I get to choose my deployment side. The Dark Eldar will be the ones that determine their avenue of attack. And we start with 1,500 points of Drukhari with Inari. So we've got a battalion detachment, led by 2 Archons, brother Archons. We have Archon Skari and his body double, Archon Skari Bob. They each have an Agonizer, and one has a Phantasm Grenade Launcher. Then I've got 3 units of 5 Cablite Warriors with Blasters. I have 2 Raiders with Shock Prows and Dark Lances, 1 Ravager with 3 Lances, and a Razorwing with Lances as well. Then we have a Inari Patrol Detachment with 7 Dire Avengers, a Raider, 8 Incubi, one of them a Clavex, the Vizark, and 5 Scourge with 4 Heat Lances. 1,500 points of Inari Drukhari. Let's go and take a look at the SpaceWolves. And we've got 1,500 points of SpaceWolves that after the rise of Guilliman, they have added some Primaris to their numbers. Okay, so James is here. It's his first time on the channel, and he has brought his SpaceWolves. Take it away, James.
Okay, starting left to right, I've got a 5-man squad of Intercessors. I've got the Captain
in Gravis armor. Yeah.
I've got the Primaris Lieutenant.
Yeah, rerolling wounds is always good.
Yep. I've got my Lone Wolf in Terminator armor with hammer and shield.
Lone Wolves are no joke.
Oh, no, they're not. I've got my Grey Hunter squad, 2 special weapons, Flamer and Melt-A-Gun.
Yeah.
5-man squad of Hellblasters.
Yeah.
3-man squad of Intercessors.
Yeah, with the heavy bolter pistols.
And then a 10-man squad of Bloodclaws with a plasma pistol being led by a Wolfguard battle leader in Terminator armor with a Stormbolter and Power Sword.
And then to round it all off,
the Beast, my Stormfang gunship.
Lots and lots of guns. So this is 1,500 points. We'll be back with missions and whatnot as well. Let us know what you think down below in the comments. Okay, we start with deployment, and we had Vanguard deployment. So that was one corner this way, and the SpaceWolves had the opposite corner. So James started deploying, and of course in 8th edition you deploy one unit, and then I counter deploy. But with this cool looking table, it's definitely a lot more tactically nuancy than with your regular flat tabletop. It's a lot of 3D stuff you have to worry about. So we've got Grey Hunters and Intercessors and a Lieutenant pushing through this area here to the main objective in the middle with some Hell Blasters, the Stormwolf gunship ready to rain some death on the Dark Eldar lines, the Bloodclaws in tactical reserve back here, and of course leading the fray on the flank we've got the Warlord himself with his Lone Wolf. The Dark Eldar answered in turn, putting both the Archons and 5 Cabalite warriors in this raider up on this area here, ready to push into the landing pad. The Ravager has deployed on the space area because it can fly out of line of sight, making it hard for the enemy to target him. Then we have this raider with 2 units of Cabalite warriors on this flank as well, while this Razorwing is flying around in space, ready to come across and shoot stuff with its lances. Last but not least, 8 Incubi in the converted raider with the Vizark and the Dire Avengers ready to take the entrance of the bunker. Will the SpaceWolves be able to stop the Dark Eldar from overwhelming the outpost in the asteroid belt? Will they save the Konos system space stations? In reserve, I do have 5 Scourge with 4 Heat Lances, and the SpaceWolves have 3 Intercessors. Is that what they're called?
Yep.
With heavy bolter pistols, because they're pretty cool. So James, any comments before the game starts?
For Russ and the Allfather.
There you go. And do you want to try and seize the initiative? Because the Dark Eldar did finish deploying first.
I do indeed.
Okay, so with a roar to the wolf, to the World Wolf. Did I get that right?
The Emperor.
Yeah. Oh, the Emperor.
Allfather, yeah.
The World Wolf, because Fenris is in flames. Poor Fenris. Yeah. Okay, let's see what happens. Oh no, we've disappeared.
We got a 3.
It is a 3, and it is Dark Eldar, turn 1. The Dark Eldar begin their turn, surging forth through the asteroids, the Incubi and the Vizark, going strong, right bang down the middle into the throat of the enemy. All the Lancers that could fired into the Stormwolf, doing only 10 wounds. It has 4 left, but it did survive, taking 8 lance shots. All other fire was ineffectual, but the Dark Eldar are gearing up for the next turn. So, with the aliens, the Xenos in sight, the SpaceWolves now prepare to respond to the initial aggression. Okay, so SpaceWolf turn 1. The main focus of the SpaceWolves was to knock out the Incubi Raider. So we had the Stormwolf and the Hell Blasters, and most of the shots target that Raider. It did die. None of the Incubi died, but they did strength from death, charge into the Grey Hunters, lose 3 of their number to a Flamer, and then killed...
Flames of the Righteous.
Yeah, killed 7 of the Grey Hunters in combat, while 1 more of the Incubi was cut down. So we've got fighting on the bridge. We have the Vizark overseeing the whole operation. On this flank, we have the Bloodclaws advancing quickly towards the landing pad, you know, under the command of the Lone Wolf and the Captain in Gravis armor. So will Archon Skari and the Warlord face off in epic combat on the landing pad. We're moving on to turn 2 as the Dark Eldar Drukhari decide to advance once again.
Who technically got first blood?
You did. You killed the Raider.
Oh yeah.
So, it is Dark Eldar, Drukhari, and Inari, turn 2. So we had some shuffling on this part of the asteroid belt by the bunker objective. And the Razorwing has zoomed past on this side. As you can see, the Stormwolf is gone, but it exploded and did D6 wounds to everything within 6 inches, killing all the Incubi, killing all the Grey Hunters, putting a wound on the Vizark, and putting 4 wounds on that Razorwing. It just went cataclysmic when the Razorwing shot it with his lances. Kaboom! In other shooting, I did shoot into the Hellblasters. They do need to take a morale test though, and they're at -1 leadership because of my Phantasm grenade launcher. They did lose 3 models on top of that. And I did kill 1 intercessor with some sporadic shuriken catapult fire. Okay, we're moving on to the second turn. So let's see what the SpaceWolves will do as they push up towards the landing pad, as they deal with the Vizark in the middle, and at the end of the day have to deal with the rest of the Dark Eldar and Inari forces with what's left of the central push. Okay, that explosion really changed the dynamic of the game. Let's see what happens after this. SpaceWolf turn 2 saw the intercessors arrive and murder the entire unit of Die Avengers with heavy bolter fire. That was pretty fun. The intercessors and the lieutenant did put a wound on the Vizark, and the Vizark passed all 4 of his invulnerable saves against the Hellblasters, so he is still alive. It was really good rolling on my part. The Razorwing didn't take any damage from the Blood Claws. The Blood Claws decided to stay still. He doesn't want to overcommit them, so he wants to be able to go to where he needs to be later in the game. And both the Lone Wolf and the Commander have advanced up onto the landing pad to challenge Archon Skari and his body double to single combat. So, moving on to turn 3 for the Dark Eldar, and very little left of the Inari. Let's see what happens after this.
Jam into his neck.
The Drukhari spring their final trap, with the Archons falling back off the landing pad away from the characters. They have drawn them into a death trap. The Scourge have shown atop the spire and have killed the Lone Wolf in a flurry of heat lance fire, while the Gravis armor captain has suffered 2 wounds at the behest of the Razorwing jet fighter. Then we had the Hellblasters die to volleys and volleys of poison and blaster fire, while the Ravager killed 2 of the 3 something or others. Intercessors, there you go. And then the Vizark charged into the Primaris Marines, cut 2 of them down, and 1 of them ran away as he failed his morale test, even with a reroll. So the Lieutenant is standing off against the Vizark, who only has 1 wound remaining. And we're moving on to the third turn for the SpaceWolves. The SpaceWolves will have to rally to do enough damage to the Dark Eldar to prevent them from taking the game. So let's see what they can do as the battle rages on in the asteroid field. Leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think the SpaceWolf player James should do. Turn 3 for the SpaceWolves saw the Blood Claws move towards the beleaguered captain in Gravis armor, surrounded by enemies. The Intercessor did shoot and took a wound off the Ravager, and then charged in. I did hit it twice on Overwatch, and then rolled Snake Eyes for damage. The SpaceWolves also charged in with the Lieutenant, but because he decided to attack with this guy first, that was a mistake. I was able to interrupt with the Vizark, killing the Lieutenant. This has spurred the Vizark with the power from pain down this side to go and hunt those Blood Claws that are crossing the battlefield. So moving on to Dark Eldar turn 4. The game is almost at an end. let's see what happens as the game goes into its final leg.
But yeah,
we had turn 4 for the Drukhari. Okay, turn 4. So I disembarked 5 Cabalite warriors from the raider with the Archons. The Archon raider moved up to challenge the commander once more, and they've decided to stay back to take that objective. I did kill the intercessor with the Ravager while these Cabalite warriors got out of that raider, and they've kind of moved around ready to take that objective in the high ground on turn 5. The Vizark moved down. Combined shooting saw some of the Blood Claws die, but I did fail that charge there. And the Scourge hopped down, shot 4 Heat Lances into him, and he passed all 4 invulnerable saves he was required to make, so the Heat Lances did not kill the enemy Warlord. So then I charged in with the Scourge to try and take his last wound off him, and he murdered them all in combat. And he's still alive, as it should be, very heroically. The Space Wolf commander in Gravis armor, the Primaris commander captain. Okay, so moving on to Space Wolf turn 4. We've got Blood Claws and a commander left against the Dark Eldar. It seems relatively grim, but it's all about heroism, glory, and the tales that they tell around the table at the chapter keep now that Fenris is dead. Ha ha! On to turn. Okay, so at the end of the turn of turn 4, we had the commander charge in, put 8 wounds on that raider with his fist, and they advanced and basically got up to the objective. So, moving on to Drukhari, turn 5. Could be the end of the game. Let's see what happens as the final remnants of the Space Wolves hold off against all odds. I've got Archon Skari in here, and his body double going to come out. Have some fun over here too. Okay. Seems like the asteroid belt is under Dark Eldar control. Here on Konor, the worldwide campaign continues. Drukhari turn 5. We have consolidated our position on the three of the main objectives. But in combat, the Archons trying to steal the glory seem to have failed epically. Archon Skari put 2 wounds on the Gravis armor captain with his agonizer. The captain passed both of his invulnerable saves and proceeded on wounding Skari 3 times after I failed my Shadowfield save on the second roll. On this flank, Archon Skari's body double failed his first Shadowfield save and has taken a wound against the Grey Hunters and the Blood Claws. Okay, we're moving on to the 5th turn for the Space Wolves. It might be a Warlord kill for the Primaris captain. Let's see what happens. There might be some glory to take home to the Space Wolf battle barge after all. Stay tuned. Space Wolf turn 3, and by 3 I mean Space Wolf turn 5. The Gravis armor captain has turned Skari into a bloody pulp, but maybe that is really Skari. I don't know. No, he's dead. He's very dead. The Archon here did put 1 wound on the pack leader, but didn't do any more damage, and it is the end of turn 5. So let's see what happens. Will the game continue on a 3+? The game
Yes, it will.
continues on to fateful turn 6. Let's continue this tale of bloodshed. Okay, an end of turn 5 for the Drukhari and Inari, and that was that, with a fateful launch shot taking out the captain and shooting from the Raised Wing and the Cabalite warriors in that raider, killing the last of the Blood Claws. James, thanks for coming down for a game, sir.
Thank you very much, man.
I hope you enjoyed that.
Great game.
Definitely a very different table to play on.
Yes.
Awesome. So, what are you planning for next time, the Revenge of the Wolves?
More flyers.
There you go.
Lots
Awesome.
More flyers.
Gonna get another one of those flyers to come in, maybe a couple of dreadnoughts that can survive in the cold depths of space. You know, we decided to play with only models that had like helmets on them and stuff, so that there's no like you know, fleshy pieces and whatnot. So no witches, no Hellions, nothing like that. So except for the Scourge, because they're modified. Other than that, thanks a lot for tuning in. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the comments down below. Thank you so much to all the patrons to help support the channel. This table was commissioned by Talented Lad Studios, and it was essentially purchased by the patrons. So if you'd like to help me create cool stuff like this, you know, consider supporting on Patreon. Check the links down below. After all, this is Skari, your grateful host, signing off till next time. Thanks for coming down, James.
Thank you very much, man.
And we'll see you on the next video. The Tactical Corner will be on Thursday. Stay tuned. Skari out.